everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and I like to talk about books, and today I'm going to be talking about my April TBR. I don't typically do TBR videos, and that's because I don't typically make TBRs. I sometimes have like loose ideas of what I want to read in the next month, but I try not to be like too strict on myself because then, I don't know, I'm just a mood reader and I just want to read what I want to read. But in April, I actually have some reading plans that I'm pretty excited about. So I just thought I would go ahead and try sharing a TBR and then seeing if I can be accountable and stick to it. Will that happen? I don't know, but we're gonna give it our best shot. So with that being said, let's jump right in. The first book that I really want to read in April is Dracula. I have never read Dracula before. It is a classic that I really want to get to, and I do want to do a reading vlog for this, so you will be able to see that on my channel very soon. I don't know anything about this other than it's a classic horror about a vampire. I've heard great things about this. This is a classic people seem to love, and so I really want to give it a shot. I think I've just been intimidated by it for a long time, and I finally just want to take the plunge and read it now. Another video I'm planning on doing in April is a reading vlog of books about witches. This is an idea I have wanted to do since last October, and I have had books on my radar since last October that are about witches, and I've just never gotten around to doing the video. I don't know why. I've been staring at these books and I've been accumulating more books about witches, and at this point I kind of don't know which books to choose for that reading vlog. I typically do like 3 books in a reading vlog, so I'm just going to show you my witchy books TBR, and would love if you could leave a comment and let me know which books you're most interested in seeing in that witchy book reading vlog. So the first one I have is These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. This is a YA book. It's about these different types of witches in Salem. I think this one girl has to deal with her ex-girlfriend, but then there's also like dark magic coming in, and so she has to team up with her ex-girlfriend to fight against the evil witches. I think the cover is really cool because it's like tarot cards. This is also a series. There are more books, at least one other book that is in it called This Coven Won't Break. So this is one option. I also have The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I don't know what this book is about, but I do know it is beautiful. This is the Illumicrate edition, so it has the nice sprayed edges and it's really thick. It's a bigger book, so I've been a little intimidated by it. So this one is also set in Salem, in New Salem in 1893, I suppose. There's no such thing as witches. There used to be in the wild dark days before the burnings began, but now witching is nothing but tidy charms and nursery rhymes. But when Eastwood sisters join the suffragists of New Salem, they begin to pursue the forgotten words and ways that might turn the women's movement into the witches' movement. Stalked by shadows and sickness, hunted by forces that will not suffer a witch to vote, and perhaps not even to live, the sisters will need to delve into the oldest magics, draw new alliances, and heal the bond between them if they want to survive. So this one sounds like it's about a group of sisters in New Salem, whatever that is. Don't really know much about it. The synopsis was pretty vague. Next I have The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. I think this was also an Illumicrate book, if I'm remembering correctly, and this is about sorority sisters who are witches. The main character, Vivi Devereaux, doesn't know she's a witch, and then she gets pulled into the Raven sorority. But there's another girl, Scarlett, who has always known she's a witch and really wants to be the president, and she doesn't want Vivi to come in. And then there's a wicked power that rises on campus, and they have to put their rivalry aside to save their fellow sisters. So honestly, this one sounds kind of like These Witches Don't Burn. These have similar vibes of there being this dark force that enemies have to team up and fight the dark force against. And then I have The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This one is historical, I believe. I've also heard this one is a mix of like fantasy and horror and literary fiction, I think was the other thing. I've heard really good reviews for this one, so this is one I definitely want to have in that video. This one says it's about a young woman living in a rigid puritanical society who discovers dark powers within herself in this stunning feminist fantasy debut. It also seems like it has some religious context to it because there's a lot of stuff about the church and the group and learning secrets about what's going on. And then finally I have Initiated by Amanda Yates Garcia, and this is a memoir from a witch. I haven't seen anyone read this book or talk about this book. I just think it sounds very interesting. It looks very interesting, and I think a memoir would be kind of cool to mix into that video as well, with like fiction and I guess nonfiction. So these are all my books about witches that I have. Like I said, I probably want to narrow it down to just 3 for that reading vlog. So let me know which ones seem the most interesting to you that you would like to see in that video in the comments below, and I will definitely take that into account because I'm going to be be filming this one very soon. Next up, I have The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. And I've actually started reading this book, but I just keep putting it down and I haven't like persisted to actually get through it. I even have this one on audiobook, so I don't know why I haven't just read more of it, but I really was interested in this one. It was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and I just haven't been in the mood to really read it, but I really just want to read it in April and know what it's all about. This one follows two young enslaved men on a plantation in the Deep South. Obviously, it is quite historical. They are in love with each other, and I think something tragic's gonna happen. Maybe that's why I've like put off reading it, because I started it and in the first like 10 to 20 pages, they're already very heavily romantically involved with each other, and I thought this was gonna be more of a love story and that was gonna be like where it ends. But with the beginning with the love story, I'm afraid it's gonna just get really, really sad. And I just think I'm intimidated by it at this point. I've just heard it's such a beautiful story. I've seen the best reviews for this one. The writing is really, really good. It's already pulled me in so far. I just need to finally commit to just buckling up and preparing myself for the sadness that is probably sure to come. Next up, I have another one of my most anticipated books of the year, and that is The Upstairs House by Julia Fine. This is a very strange book that is about this woman who is like imagining a delusion of a woman upstairs, and that woman is the author of Goodnight Moon, and she's the only one who can see that woman, obviously, because it's a delusion, because that woman is very dead, not real, not living in her house. It's just all in her imagination. She's also raising a child and she's like really tired, so I think it's a metaphor for postpartum, but it just sounds really interesting. It's fairly short. I've been wanting to get to this one for a while, so I'm ready to prioritize this one in April. And then finally, the last book that is on my list for April, I don't know if I'll get around to reading it because it is very long, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. So if you've been keeping up with my channel, you saw I just read Tar for the first time. I have a reading vlog fully dedicated to that experience. Didn't know what I was going to think of it, but it turns out I did like it, and I would like to continue in the series. So I'm ready to move on to A Court of Mist and Fury. I am interested, but it is very long, and so I'm going to have to commit to a 600-page book, and I just don't know if that's going to happen in April. It might. I might start reading it but not get through it, but also, I don't know, Tar was just really addictive to read. As soon as I started it, I just wanted to read it as fast as I could and get finished, so I just knew what happened, which I feel like might also happen with this one, because I've heard this one is way better and a lot of people's favorite book. So I'm definitely interested in it. I definitely want to read it soon. I hope that's in April, but as you can see, I have a lot of reading plans and I just don't know if it'll fit in, but we will see. I'm also planning to participate in the Buzzwordathon challenge for April. This will be the first time I'm actually participating this year, but I think I do want to keep that a little bit of a surprise of what I'll be reading for that one. The theme for this month is reading books about space, or space books. I can't remember if space was the word or if space is the theme, but I do have a couple books in mind for that will fit that prompt either way, whichever way it goes. But I am very excited to read. They're very outside of my comfort zone because space books are just not what I'm typically reading. So I think that'll be a fun little way to branch out and try something new. Like I said, don't really want to give away my TBR fully right now, but you can expect to see that reading vlog on my channel this month, so you can look out for that this month. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So these are most of my reading plans for the month of April. It's going to be a pretty busy reading month. I've got a lot of plans here. Like I said, let me know which themed books you're most interested in seeing in that reading vlog, because I do need to cut this down a little bit. This will be a little bit too intimidating for the month, but I think it'll also be a really fun reading month. Let me know if any of these books are also on your radar, or if you've read any of these books before. Let me know what you thought of them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a pretty good reading month. We'll see if I actually get through all of these books and commit to a TBR. It'll be a fun little experiment. But that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.